Hello. How are you guys doing? I just dropped Tanya off and it is 12:05 a.m. and we went to a meeting. Got my coin. And for my 24-year sobriety birthday, my sponsor gave it to me. And then Tanya and my sponsor and I, we went out to dinner afterwards. And we were there for 3 hours. We closed the place down. And we had such a good time. And it was so much fun. And we talked about all kinds of stuff. And then my sponsor gave me this huge 4-step packet of stuff that I have to do for my inventory. So I'm doing that on the 27th, and I did get a root beer. I had coffee, but I did get a root beer tonight, and a little bit of another cheat day today. But tomorrow, I'm back on track. Everybody tonight was telling me that they were like, oh my God, I can really tell you've lost weight and all this kind of stuff. And so yeah. I got a grilled cheese. I didn't eat all of it. And then I had a wedge salad. The wedge salad was so good. Oh my God. But anyway, and we had just such a great time. And Tanya and my sponsor both got fish and chips. And yeah, it was fun. We sat there and talked for hours about just kind of swapping stories. And I mean, I've known my sponsor for years and years and years, long before she was my sponsor, and so did Tanya. So, and then she went through like everything she wants me to do on my inventory, and I was asking her about some people, because like a lot of the people that are going to be in my inventory, as far as like resentments, are things that I don't necessarily have active resentments towards. I mean, these are people from 10 to 20 years ago, you know? I mean, I'm doing this major inventory, and she's like, well, I still think that they should be on there because, you know, you still have feelings and emotions attached to that, and I think it would just be good for us to go through that anyway. So I was kind of like running things, people by her, or places by her, and things like that, you know? And so yeah, I mean, it's weird, like I am kind of excited about doing it and getting it done a little bit. And then she gave me a book. So there's a book in the program that has, well, it's actually not program approved, but a lot of people read it. And it's about character defects. But there's a second one, and I didn't like know that there was a second one, and she brought me the second one tonight. So we're gonna go back through and we're gonna read the other two. The first one I've started, I've never read it all the way through. And we're gonna read those two, and we're gonna go over my character defects. That's after we do the 4th and 5th step. We're gonna do that with the 6th and 7th step. So yeah, I'm kind of excited to get that stuff out and go into 2019, you know, with like a lot of this stuff having been worked through. She's like, you need to get prepared for that day. It's gonna be a long day. I'm like, oh Lord. So anyway, I think I need to charge my phone. I do. I actually don't know how long this battery is gonna let me go tonight, because I filmed videos earlier and the battery wasn't all the way charged when I left. I charged it when I was taking a shower, and I don't know why my phone always does this. But I was charging it while I was taking a shower, and then so I didn't get to charge the battery in the camera all the way. Alex just texted me, and he is going to bed. So he was like, I'm going to bed. He's like, I love you. I'm like, I love you too. I love my husband. He's so sweet. He stayed in bed all night long with the dogs tonight and watched TV. He said he didn't feel very well. And but then he said maybe he's just tired. And I again didn't get to film all of my videos I wanted to film because I was running late. So tomorrow is my day to really get some stuff done, and then once I get that done, I'm going to try to film some videos for like the next couple days too. I have this video that I've been wanting to film for my review channel. Well, I mean, I have like 15 videos I wanted to film for my review channel, but I haven't. I came home last night, and I have like a couple pieces of that cheese that's on my diet that I can have, and I sat there and watched like 10 more minutes of the Christmas Chronicles. I still haven't finished that yet, but it is such an adorable Christmas movie. Like, it's adorable. If you guys haven't seen it and you're looking for a good Christmas, like a family Christmas movie, I mean, I told Tanya tonight, I said, I believe in Santa Claus. I tried so hard, you know, believe in Santa as long as I could, but like, if I had watched that movie as a kid, I really think, like, I don't know, and some of it, like, even is a little bit, like, it's kind of like, there's some like deeper issues on there about grief and loss and things like that. It's such a great movie. The special effects are incredible too. And it's kind of a new, like, there's some new concepts about Santa Claus on there. I don't know, it's a very sweet movie. I'm not done with it yet, but I think I only have like 15 or 20 minutes left. I'm at the part where they're like, it is so much like Adventures in Babysitting. There's this scene when they do like this, they like do this like jazz song rendition, and they're like, you'll know, I don't want to tell you because it'll ruin it for you where they're at, but it's very funny. It's kind of like that scene from Adventures in Babysitting when they like go to that club and they're like, nobody leaves the club until they sing the blues. It kind of reminds me of that part a little bit. It's very cute. Today was a good day. It was very relaxed, which most of my days are that way, I find. The sky is so beautiful tonight. The moon is bright. You can see the stars, and there's just like a spotting of clouds. It looks like it could be a summer night, except it's 30 degrees outside. I got up today and I did my prayers and my meditations. And, oh, you know what? I never posted my Peterisms video, because I was going to post it when I got home, but I got home too late. Well, I'll just save it for tomorrow. There, I got my Peterisms video done for tomorrow. I got up and I did my prayers and meditations, and I took the dogs out after, you know, before that, and did all that stuff. And then afterwards, I did my prayers and my meditations. And then I went and got a coffee and drove around a little bit, listen to some music, listen to my audiobook. I really like this audiobook that I'm listening to, The Afterlife of Holly Chase. It's fantastic. If you guys are listening, if you're looking for a last-minute Christmas book to listen to before the holidays, it's really good. The audio version is really good too. I like the narrator a lot. And let's see, then after that, I came home and was like looking at some last minute stuff to get Alex online, but the problem is it's last minute and I don't know if this stuff will come in time. I also wanted to get a t-shirt for my cousin's son. I wanted to, like, I was looking through his Instagram because like some of the bands that he really likes, but he likes kind of obscure bands. He's a drummer, and I wanted to go to like their merch shops and buy a t-shirt from their merch shop, but I don't think they'll get there in time because I waited till the last minute, because of course I always do that every year. So I have a couple of these bands. I'm gonna go to some like music shops that are a little bit like, have like albums and rare music, and I'm gonna see if maybe they have, I have like 5 names picked, and I'm gonna go of like these bands, and I'm gonna go there and see if they have like t-shirts of any of those bands. I think that would be a fun gift for him. And then I think for Mike, I'm gonna get him like one of these tools. I was looking actually at Walmart. This is my cousin's husband, because he like loves tools and stuff. They have all these very cool like as seen on TV tools, because I was looking in that section. So I think I'm gonna get him one of those. And then Caroline, I'm not really sure yet what I'm gonna get her. So yeah. So then I came back and, oh, I did a rant video. I came back and got my camera, and then I went into this rant video. And I also posted a video, like a little funny clip video that Tanya and I did last night. I think I may have talked about it on here last night. I posted it on my Facebook, on my Instagram, and I put it at the end of my YouTube video today. And then I filmed the Peterisms video, and then Alex was coming home, so I cleaned up everything and put it away. Then he came home after I had fed the dogs, and we sat down and talked a little bit, because he had a bunch of, please don't turn off. He had a bunch of like ideas, creative ideas of things he wants to do for our joint Instagram. So if you don't know, if you didn't hear me talk about this last night, Alex and I have started a couple's Instagram. It is at Peter and Alex. It has no pictures, nothing on it whatsoever. I will link it below. It'll be the first thing below if you want to go, you know, it's just at Peter and Alex. And So anyway, we're gonna start that Christmas or New Year's. He's really excited about that because he loves to like edit pictures and kind of plan pictures out and stuff like that. And like his Instagram's very much like that. So we talked about that for a little bit. He told me about his day. He had his Secret Santa exchange today. He was real excited about that. And at work. And so he was kind of filling me in on all that kind of stuff and the pitching that they had. And yeah, and then he was like, I said, what are you gonna do tonight? And he goes, I think I'm just gonna get in bed with the dogs and watch TV. He was texting me while I was at dinner and he was like, did you watch Roswell back in the day? And I was like, oh my God, I loved that show, Roswell. I loved Roswell so much. You know I love alien stuff anyway, right? So he goes, do you know they're doing a remake of it? Or like it's coming back or something? I said, is it really? I didn't know that. He goes, yeah, I'm gonna have to go back and watch this. I used to watch it too. And he said, I'm gonna have to go back and I'm gonna have to watch it again because they're redoing it. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm excited about that. So there's that. And Penny Marshall died today. Oh my God, it was so sad. It was so weird too. I was just talking about Penny Marshall on here the other day and how, you know, she had such a big deal with my growing up because my mom and I loved Laverne and Shirley. Actually, that's what my Peterisms video is about. And you know how much my mom and I loved Laverne and Shirley, and we would act them out, and I was always Shirley, and my mom was always Laverne, and God, that seems like so many moons ago, you know. But yeah, that was my day, and then I went to I took a shower and wore my blue turtleneck again, and went and picked up Tanya, and then we went to the meeting. We got there a little bit early. And there was like a lot of people at my meeting that I hadn't seen in a long time. And it was good. It was really good. And I had forgotten that this guy that was a friend of mine back in the day, he doesn't come to this meeting regularly anymore. I hadn't seen him actually in a couple years. He and I have the same birthday. He got 30 years tonight. And of course, I got my 24-year token. He and I both had the same birthday yesterday. And it was just cool seeing we split up into little groups and we talked about giving back. And then we talked about the 12th step and carrying the message. It was a good meeting. You know, back in the day, we would always, after a meeting, you know, like all of us go and, what is rattling? Those are my sunglasses. We would always, like, if it was in the summer, we would go to Tanya's house and she'd make, you know, a fire in the backyard and we'd all sit around, you know, and drink coffee or fountain pops or whatever. Rock stars and monsters. And, you know, or we'd get food and bring it back there, and there'd be like 6 or 7 of us, and we'd all just sit out there. I mean, literally till like 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning. Or we'd go eat somewhere before or after, you know. It was really fun because we'd all, like, there'd be like 10 of us or 15 of us, you know, after a meeting. You know, they just invite everybody, so anybody that wanted to come could come, and there'd be like, you know, table. I've been before at 12 step, like when 12 after a meeting, like there'll be like 25 people that will go to dinner somewhere. Can you imagine being a waitress or a waiter and getting a table for 25? People in recovery are pretty good tippers though, so especially if you keep the coffee coming and the soft drinks, you know. And but it was fun tonight. It kind of reminded me of that a little bit, those early days, you know. And we were talking about service, and it's interesting because like when I got sober, there was like, I mean, we have like, you know, the service positions that are voted on now, but back when I got sober, there was like, somebody would, you know, like somebody would tell you, okay, it's your job to clean all the ashtrays, you know, for the next 2 months, or, I mean, nobody smokes in meetings anymore. Around here there are no smoking meetings, but, or like we would have glass coffee mugs, and so like, you know, you clean out all the coffee mugs or make the coffee or put up the chairs or whatever. I mean, there was like service positions like that, whereas like that's not really how it is anymore. It's kind of like, I mean, maybe the chair does that, but there's collectively kind of like a lot of people that will help and do those things, you know. And it was interesting because there's like a 12-step magazine that I get once a month, and it has all these stories and stuff in it. And there was a story in there about like this guy was just talking about how, like, his first year sober, he didn't have anything. It's all Christmas, holiday stories. Not Christmas necessarily, but holiday stories. And he didn't have anything to do, and somebody told him he was going to go to this 24-hour, like, like 12-step, I don't know how to say it without calling it what it is. It's like I'm trying to translate it from recovery talk to normal talk. That he had to go and he had to work at the, because they knew he didn't have anything to do, so they were trying to keep him busy, right? And he couldn't get to see his kids that year because he had like lost custody of them and all this kind of stuff. So anyway, he went to this 24-hour thing, and like where there's a meeting every hour for an hour, and then there's like a dance and all this kind of stuff. And he said he drank coffee and he fell asleep every once in a while in the corner listening to music, and they kept him going the whole 24 hours and all this kind of stuff. And that's really truly like what my early sobriety looked like, was that, you know, like people would just tell me like, okay, on Tuesday night you're going to such and such meeting, and you're gonna go carry the message. And I'd be like, well, I don't know what that means. And they'd be like, we're gonna pick you up on Tuesday night, you know. And I would have like a month sober, and they take me into like the drunk tank or something, and I'd just be sitting there, and these like old guys, you know, that were like 70 at the time, would be like, okay, you're gonna carry the message, you're gonna tell your story. And I'd be like, to these guys right here? And they'd be like, yeah, you're gonna tell them how it's been working for you. I'm like, I only have 2 months sober. You're gonna tell them what's working for you, you know? And that's where like early on I learned, like, when, you know, you're told to do something, you do it. And as resistant as I was, I did do those things, you know? It was good for me. I miss those early days sometimes. Tanya, my sponsor, and I, we all have kind of around the same amount of sobriety time, and we were talking about that, you know, that sometimes I miss like being in early sobriety, and like that, just like that feeling that you have, that just, I mean, it's hard, you know, it's really hard, and everything in your life is new, but once you kind of get past that, I would say, like that newness feels good, you know. And it's like, you know, you're meeting all kinds of new people, and it's exciting, and you want to talk about it all the time, you know. It's just, it's nice. And for me, like, I think this time of year, like winter always reminds me of, you know, like winter always reminds me of like early sobriety, because I got sober, you know, in the winter time. So this time of year always reminds me of what that was like, and just like going to a meeting and then coming home and, you know, spending an hour. I would make a pot of coffee, and I would read, you know, some recovery material, and then like I would watch, like, honest to God, like I would watch like a recovery movie before I went to bed, or while I was in bed. I would watch like When a Man Loves a Woman, or like Clean and Sober, or whatever. And I think that When a Man Loves a Woman was out by then. Well, if it wasn't, then I would watch like Clean and Sober. I had that one on repeat like all the time. And but there were a couple other recovery movies that I had, and I had that little TV VCR combo that I had in my bedroom, and I would just lay in there, you know, and my apartment was clean, and it just was, I was in, you know, clean pajamas in bed, and I felt safe and warm, you know. And it was nice. I would make, like, you know, just like I said, like a pot of coffee, and I would sit there, you know, after I'd gone to a meeting and hung out with people, and life felt good again, you know. It was very simple. It was simple, but I liked it, you know. It was good. It was nice. And yeah. Felt like that tonight. I'm like sitting here and I'm like, I need to go home and make a pot of coffee and sit down and read some recovery stuff, you know? This one thing that I got for Alex shipped, and I'm like worried it's gonna show up, but I thought about shipping it to my P.O. box, and I just didn't even give it two thoughts after I was like on there ordering it. And I'm like, I hope that thing doesn't come while Alex is at home. Like, I hope it comes like when he's not at home, you know? I tried to get a bunch of other stuff done on my list today. I had stupid stuff on there, okay? Like, my friend Valerie gave me this name of this psychic medium that she swears by. And I've had that on my list for like 3 days. And I just haven't... I keep on thinking about calling her to schedule an appointment, and I keep on forgetting. And then I haven't been down in the basement for a couple days. I need to get down there and get some stuff done. And the bedroom closet, I want to get some of that stuff done. Maybe I'll get some of that stuff done tomorrow. Maybe I'll take an hour and just do that tomorrow. I'll feel like I'm dedicating an hour to that. And, yeah. I saw this friend of mine tonight, and I don't know how much younger he is than me. He's probably Alex's age. Anyway, he just started growing out a beard not too long ago, but his beard's a little bit longer than mine is, and it's like, I don't know, but it looked nice. And I said to him, I said, I really sometimes think about like growing my beard out longer. Not like long, but longer, a little bit longer. And he goes, well, I think that would look good. Why don't you do that? And I said, well, I said, my beard starts, because my face is so chubby right now, I said it grows kind of out, it doesn't grow down. And he goes, well, do you use like a beard wax or anything like that? And I said, well, I have all that stuff, but no, I don't use it. And he goes, well, you should really try that. I don't know, what do you guys think? Do you think I should grow my beard out a little bit longer? Let me know in the comment section below what you think. I can't believe that Christmas is, what is today? Okay, we have Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then it's Christmas Eve. We have 5 days till Christmas. I can't believe that. I'm gonna wait till this weekend to buy Christmas presents. I was gonna try to do it this week, but I thought, you know what? I would rather do it this weekend. And then usually on Christmas Eve, I'm like, because I love to do last minute Christmas Eve shopping. I don't know why. It always kind of reminds me of the beginning of A Christmas Carol, when they're like, do you know what I'm talking about? Like when they're driving around and, or not that they're driving around. At the beginning of Christmas Carol, like when he's like leaving and everybody's like doing their Christmas shopping. Maybe that's just the George C. Scott version. I don't know. But and it also reminds me of this movie that I love, that somebody sent me the book for last year, and I want to start reading it this week, because I want to read it before Christmas, called The Box of Delights. Oh my God, I love this. I love this movie so much. It was a PBS special. I think the whole thing is on YouTube. But anyway, the main character's name is Kit, and he goes to stay in like his house in the English countryside. Oh, it's going to stop. Hold on. So he goes to stay he comes from like school to go stay at this house in the English countryside. And then he comes home, and it's like snow everywhere. It's shot beautifully. And I think it was filmed like in the late 80s, early 90s, but it has a very old feel to it. Almost kind of like a Agatha Christie movie. It's very well done. And it wasn't a PBS special, a BBC special. Anyway, and the music's really pretty, and just everything about it. It's very kind of, it's very like fantasy meets Christmas. So, but the woman that like takes care of him, she's not like his nanny. I don't know what you would say that she is. She's like, I don't know, but like she does take care of him, but she's not his nanny because he's like older, and like he has these like this other family of kids visiting them, so it ends up being like just this house of kids. Anyway, she's like, she gets called into London because like her mom is sick or something like that, so he has to take her to the train station where she just picked him up from, and so he gets ready to go back in. He goes, I have to do some last minute Christmas shopping for those damn Joneses kids or whatever, something like that. I always think about that on Christmas Eve. But I love doing like Christmas Eve shopping, you know, the day of, and like, you know, playing the music and getting a peppermint mocha, which is probably the one time a year that I actually do get a peppermint mocha and actually really drink it, you know what I mean? But it's just fun to me. But like last year, I ended up, was it last year or the year before, that I ended up not spending any time with Alex because on Christmas Eve until we went to, you know, his aunt's house, because I was gone all day shopping, and it ends up, you know, I got up later, and then it like takes all day to get this stuff done, so I got home, and then I was rushing to get ready, and I don't want to do that this year, you know? Alex is off that day, I'm off that day. Well, maybe we'll just do Christmas shopping together, and we can just, you know, split up a little bit. Can you believe I still haven't put up my Christmas tree? Seriously, Peter? I'm putting the Christmas tree up. Even if I just put it up for one day, I'm putting it up. Holy night. So yeah, Christmas is right around the corner, and then New Year's. And then I get to do the countdown for our big trip, which I'm really excited about. It's gonna be so much fun. Somebody said the other day, they were like, I'm gonna vlog, or I'm excited about your vacation vlogs. I'm excited about my vacation vlogs too, because that means I'm on vacation, but I think that will be really fun. It's been like really fun this last year, just like doing longer vlogs too. That's why I hope this, you know, camera doesn't die too early, but it's been kind of fun doing longer vlogs. I know not everybody loves them, but I know some people love to just kind of put them on in the background and listen to them, which I appreciate and I like. That means so much to me. But I kind of just like jump all over the place. I know when I'm on vacation, they're a little bit shorter because it's hard to just sit there and talk, you know, on vacation for like an hour or whatever, so. But maybe not if I split them up during the day, you know, like 20 minutes in the morning and, you know, 20 minutes later and all that kind of stuff. That might not be too hard to do. The thing with Miami that's so hard, like people are always like, why don't you show more of like outside? The problem with that is that because if you've ever been to Miami, like specifically South Beach, there's so much music, like everywhere you go, like every hotel you pass, every restaurant bar that you pass is playing music. And typically, well, I've been there at other times and it's the same, but typically, like, especially that week, it's really, really loud. And, cause it's like spring break time and it's winter music conference and it's ultra music festival. So it's like always like loud music, right? Well, it isn't just about the demonetization that your video will be demonetized. It's also about the fact that what do you call it? That sometimes if the music is copywritten, like they won't let you play the video whatsoever. Like so I'll do a whole vlog and then I won't know till afterwards when I'm posting it that it got. I mean, it's not like they let you know ahead of time, so you don't know, right? And then it'll just say this music's copywritten. Sometimes like it'll copyright it, and then like whoever the music is will claim the music, and then they'll just. This is not like they have to go in there and do it. It just naturally happens too, and they'll like claim the music, and then like whatever, you know, profit what you make off of people seeing that ad on your video, if that has that music, like they make it, right? Like that like if it's, you know, Arista Records or something like that, like they make the money off of it. Which, big deal, right? But what has happened in some of my videos is that they won't play in other countries because some music isn't allowed in certain countries. So then, or if like the right to that music is only in the United States but not in such and such country, then it will only play in the United States, if that makes sense. So, like, these are things I never thought about. Like, I never thought about this on YouTube until it actually happened to me. And, I actually did this video, God, it's been forever ago, on my Peter Monn channel. And it was where I was like lip syncing. I think it was called To My Haters or something like that. This is a long time ago. And I was lip syncing to Whitney Houston's I Will Always Love You. And it got demonetized, which I don't care about that. But but then it couldn't play in certain countries, and I started getting all these messages from people because I had posted it on Twitter, like, you know, like, hey, the new video, I always post that, and they were like, I can't see this, like, this video, like, what's the video? I can't see it. It's not, like, it won't show it in my country or whatever, which I thought was so strange. And then, like, I kind of looked into it a little bit. Well, the rights to that song could only, like, in certain countries, it wouldn't allow it. And I was like, okay, I get that, so. But anyway, all that background stuff that you don't really know. I was adjusting the camera and I turned it off. But anyway, no, I didn't know until after, like, the song got claimed. But it shows you, like, right up there, it'll show you, like, the song was claimed by, you know, whatever record company or whatever, you know what I mean? So I was like, oh, okay. Why are these sunglasses doing this? They never do this to me. I love the stillness of, like, this time of night, you know? It's so weird when I look back on, like, this time of being in, you know, treatment 24 years ago. So this would have been my, like, first, today would have been, like, you know, I would have woken up yesterday in treatment. And then today would have been my, like, second full day in treatment. And I don't really remember, I remember some things, but I don't remember a lot. It was a couple days. At one point, I went and I called my dad. They had these payphones at the end of, the detox unit. There was, like, double doors that you would go through, and then there was, like, this area right there where they had payphones, and then there was, like, other double doors that you couldn't, like, get out of without a key code. I could have left whenever I wanted to. It wasn't a locked facility, but it doesn't feel that way. It feels like some of these treatment programs, like, it felt like it was a locked facility. I mean, I knew I could go, but, like, I didn't really have anywhere to go anyway. But I think it was, like, the third or fourth day, I called my dad. And I was so pissed at him, and I called him and I said, and he answered, and he goes, and, you know, he was, like, really the only one that would take my call, and he said, what do you want? And I said, you need to come get me the fuck out of this place. I was so mad. And he goes, no, you're gonna stay there. And I go, you need to come get me. I don't need to be here. I was so mad. And he goes, you don't need to speak to me that way ever again, first of all. And he said, second of all, you're staying there. I'm not coming to get you. And he goes, you should see this as a gift. And I said, then you need to bring me, I don't have any cigarettes. I don't have anything. I don't have any shampoo. I don't have any clothes. He goes, I'll bring you some clothes. I'll leave them at the front desk, but I'm not bringing anything else. And I said, and he goes, I'm definitely not bringing you anything. Have it for me. Which is crazy, because when I got out of treatment, he didn't, you know, want to help me out financially. So, like, he would buy me a carton of cigarettes and put it in my freezer once a week. And, but then, like, there was one day, like, when the snow kind of let up, because it wasn't too bad. And I had a friend of mine, and she ended up bringing me Aveda shampoo and conditioner, and then she brought me, like, 5 Michael Crichton books, because I asked her to, and she brought me a carton of cigarettes, and at that time I smoked Camel Light Whites, and I remember there was this other young guy that I was on the detox unit with, and he, like, we were, like, the exact same age, and he had a friend of his that brought him in this, like, huge case of, like, Diet Coke, and they allowed it on, like, the detox unit, but they wouldn't allow it anywhere else, and he kept it in his room, which I can't believe they let him have that in his room. I don't know how I remember that, but I can remember, like, when I would walk by his room, I could see, like, the case of, like, Diet Coke next to, like, leaning up against his desk, you know, and he'd always have a can of Diet Coke in his hand, and, And the weird stuff that you remember, you know what I mean? Oh, but that time with that phone call, I said, and my dad goes, I'll bring you your clothes and I'll leave them up front, and that's all I'm gonna leave you. And I was like, and I took the phone and I went, bang! Bang, 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 bang on the payphone thing. And I remember, like, I heard these double doors just like boom open, right? And there was this woman standing there. She must have been all of about 4'10", 4'11". And here's the thing, I ended up working with her later, okay, for like 10 years, and she used to tell she would tell these stories about me, right? She'd say, oh my God, Peter's come so far, look at him now, he's a counselor, he's doing this, but let me tell you about this one time he was banging the phone on the payphone thing. So anyway, I'm standing there with the phone in my hand, and she's looking at me, and she goes, is there a problem? And I go, no. She goes, I didn't think so. Now get back to your room, please. I put the phone down the thing, and I walked through the double doors. I was so mad. I was like, bang! I'm so pissed. She passed away a little while ago. Such a great woman. She was like the detox counselor. Over time, like, they change, like treatment programs have changed, and now they kind of like, they move people in to, like, I don't know if you know much about treatment these days, okay, but like back in the day, a lot of insurance companies would pay for like 30 days of treatment, right? Well, I had already gone that gig, so they were ready to only pay for like 1 day of treatment for me, and my dad had to pay for the rest, right? Which is why I always thank him on my sobriety birthday for my treatment and my education. The two greatest gifts my father ever gave me besides my life were treatment and my education. And so back then, like, a lot of insurance companies would approve 30 days of treatment once a year. They don't do that anymore, okay? This is how treatment programs look today. Psych hospitals and addiction treatment programs are they look almost identical. And what they do is, they admit you somewhere for, let's say, 2 to 5 days, assess your needs, and if you're basically not at a level of, like, morbidity or safety to yourself, they put you into an outpatient program, right? Now, I think, like, I mean, I've been out of the game for so long, but just knowing people that are coming in, I think it's even hard to get approved for outpatient programs or, day treatment programs at this point, but that's really what happens. I mean, we don't, unless you have a lot of money that you can, like, pay, and I'm not talking about pay down the road, okay? I'm talking about that you can up front put down a lot of money on a treatment program that there just aren't really, the whole idea of a 30 to 90 day, 6-month treatment program does not exist. And people don't really have any realistic idea of what that looks like. And you're looking at probably for like a rehab level of care, or for like a psych unit, for like, I mean, especially in a psych hospital, you're talking probably, I would bet $2,000 a day, minimum probably, okay? Because you're talking about doctor 24 hours, nursing care doctor, nursing 24 hours, medical treatment 24 hours. I mean, it's like these high levels of care, right? So, I mean, you're talking about 30 days of that, that's $60,000. Not a lot of people can afford that. Well, when you're looking at treatment programs, you're probably talking about anywhere between $600 and $800 a day, okay? So, if you're looking at, let's say, a residential treatment program somewhere, let's lowball it and say it's $700. Let's say it's $600 a day for like a residential program, okay? A reputable residential program. What is that? 6 times, you're talking $18,000 a month. Well, there's not a lot of people that have $18,000 a month, and they're gonna want you to put down $5,000 or $6,000, if not pay it in full, before you go into one of these programs. And then they'll recommend six months with reevaluation, depending on how you're doing, So, what is that? 30, 60, 90, that's almost $100,000. That's more than $100,000 for 6 months of treatment. Who has that? Like, most people don't have that money, So then you're looking for affordable treatment. Well, affordable psychiatric treatment is not pretty, I can tell you right now. You know, affordable treatment, you're looking at things like the Salvation Army, which luckily in Indianapolis, our Salvation Army treatment here is probably some of the best treatment I've ever witnessed in my life. I've had a lot of friends that have gone through the program there, right? But there's no luxury to it, and you're in a room with 6 other people, you know, in a metal, basically, bed, and there's a waiting list for these programs, you know? And that's just the reality of treatment in our country today. It's very, very sad. Insurance companies will not approve for people to go in, especially, you know, if there are other ways to, and you know, with all the maintenance drugs that we have now, they'll put you on a maintenance drug and they'll put you on an outpatient program and things like that. And versus, you know, when I got sober, it was like 30 plus days of treatment, going to an outpatient or an aftercare program, you know, follow up with 90 days of meetings. We didn't talk about maintenance drugs, you know, but now it's almost kind of like you have to do all of that because people are getting rapidly detoxed or rapidly evaluated and then moved into one of these. It's just sad. It's just very, very sad. And I don't think we're really meeting the needs of people, honestly. I will tell you this, though. If you're in a position and you have a family member or a friend or a spouse or whatever, you know, boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever, you know, that you're looking for treatment for them, this was not a popular opinion when I worked in treatment, I'll just tell you. But let's say if you're going to go to somewhere local, okay, and it's, you know, anywhere from $400 to $1,000 a day, $400 to $800. I have no idea, honestly. I've been so out of the game for so long. I have no idea what one day of residential treatment looks like. And the thing is, if you're brought into detox, that's 24-hour medical care, okay? So you're paying for the doctor, you're paying for the nurse, you're paying for all that stuff. That's why it's a higher level of care. So I think today probably like a day of detox looks anywhere between, like I said, I bet it's anywhere between like $1,000 and $2,000. And then rehab, which is a lower level of care, but, you know, is probably, I would say, $800 to $1,100, $1,200 a day. I don't know. And then residential, which is a lower level of care, you're not, you know, it's cheaper than that. So I don't know. I'm trying to think of how much a day of residential was. I think it was close to, it was like $450 maybe back in the day. One outpatient session, I think, was $150. This was the treatment program that I worked in. So if that was 11 years ago, I mean, what? A day of residential now is probably $800 to $1,000. I have no idea what it was. Let's just, you know. So anyway, but if you're going to pay that kind of money versus sending, you know, your loved one to Hazelden in Minnesota, which is fantastic, or the Caron Foundation in Pennsylvania, or, you know, like, I'm trying to think of another, you know, Hazelden has programs in Florida as well, and, or like, oh shoot, what's the one in Chicago? I think it's called Pride. That's for, you know, specifically LGBTQ plus, but there's all these great programs, right, around the country. I mean, really phenomenal programs. They're no different price-wise than one that's close to you. So if you're gonna go to treatment, okay, number one, it's better for us as addicts and alcoholics to get out of the environment that we're in and then go into a long-term halfway house after that, away from everything that we know. Unless you have kids that you have to be around, or, you know what I'm saying? Like, unless you have a lot of obligations. But if you don't, go away. Get out of the environment that you're in. Help the person get out of the environment. Half of what hurts us is that we go right back into the same environment that we were in before. And I do believe that you can stay sober in any environment. I did, you know, but at the same time, I think, like, you know, I'm not a believer that geographical changes, you know, that they're solve our problems, but I do believe that it helps getting us away. You know, like, if all my friends are using and I'm going right back into the same environment of friends, like, that's hard. And I think that has a lot to do and with why people are going back out there. You know, the chances of running back into your dope dealer down the street is better than if you go from Indiana to Georgia or something, you know what I mean? There's great programs in Georgia, by the way. And there's a great program in Illinois too called So, you know, I mean, there's good programs in Indianapolis as well. The program that I worked for was a good program. But what I'm saying is, if you're here, why not send, you know, the person that you love or yourself, go somewhere away and then do what they say, which is typically, you know, 30 days of a treatment. Like Hazelden, I think they recommend like 30 to 45, 60 days of treatment, followed by going into like day treatment or outpatient, living in a halfway house on their property for like, you know, 6 months to a year, going to meet. I mean, I think that's an ideal. I don't know, that would have been great for me back in the day, you know? You know, we have some tragedy that happens in our world, and it's based on the fact that, well, so-and-so had mental health issues, or so-and-so had addiction issues, and then, you know, it's like, well, I wish they would have gotten help and all this kind of stuff. But, you know, there's people that are advocating for mental health rights and you know, affordable and, you know, mental health treatment and addiction treatment in our country. And they're going to courts and they're trying to pass these laws so we can have that, and it's just not out there, you know? And insurance companies are not now able to get away with not having to pay for this stuff, you know? And it's really, really sad, you know? But I have friends of mine that are in early sobriety that, you know, are involved in community mental health centers, and they have wraparound services, and they have psychiatrists, and they have groups. And I mean, you can do that. There's community mental health centers in every community that you're in. There's affordable treatment. There may be a waiting list. I mean, I've heard some people talk about it's taken them 2 months to get an outpatient, you know, be in an outpatient program or whatever. So, I don't know. Makes me sad. I have so many friends of mine that live in halfway houses, and I know that there's like a lot of shady shit that goes on in a lot of halfway houses. It comes with the territory. I mean, by nature, people in early recovery that are living all together, there's going to be at least probably one person that's using, you know, I mean, stuff's going to happen, right? I don't blame that necessarily overall in the program. Do I think there are some shady programs out there? I think there's some shady everything's out there, you know? But I think there are some reputable programs too, yeah. In Indianapolis, we're blessed. I mean, we have some great halfway houses here. If you don't know what a halfway house is where, like, after you get out of treatment or, you know, whatever, you go there and you live, and then it's like, and they have 3-quarter houses too, which is like you have a lot of freedom. But a halfway house is like where you go in and then like you have a curfew, and they can randomly drug test you. You have to go to so many meetings a week, have sponsor contact. But it's like you live there, so you might share a room with 1 to 3 other people. And some of them are apartments, some of them are actual houses, some of them are buildings. Like here we have a mixture of everything. And, but it's like a sober living environment, you know, and they usually have house managers and things like that. We have programs here that are everywhere from like actual houses that have like 5 or 6 people in them, all the way to programs that have like 90 guys in them, you know. We have specific ones for men and women here. Most of them are split, most of them are not co-ed. I don't know that I know any co-ed halfway houses. But I think for me, if I had gone to one back in the day, I think it would have been so good for me, you know? I really wish I had back then. And that was the one thing that was recommended to me when I got sober. There was only one halfway house here in Indianapolis, and I wasn't going. But I think that if my dad and the doctor had really pushed me, I would have gone. And I think my dad was afraid because I think like he wanted to have some control. I mean, my dad still hadn't let 100% control go. I think he wanted to have some control, and if he knew that I was like at the apartment, he could kind of come over, excuse me, whenever he wanted, that he could kind of check on me and things like that. Whereas if I was in a halfway house, he wouldn't really have that kind of control, and I think that terrified him to some degree. It's so funny how much my dad has changed, because I think today, you know, I think if the doctor said he needs to go to a halfway house, my dad would go, "You're going to a halfway house." And if I said I'm not going, he would say, "Well, then you have nowhere else to go." So I don't know what to tell you. You can go to the halfway house or you can go to the streets. It's up to you. Because my dad is very much like that when it comes to recovery and enabling me today and stuff like that. And honestly, that is the foundation for our relationship, that we're able to have such an amazing relationship. We were talking about that tonight at dinner. Like Tanya was saying that, you know, she was like, I don't think you would have the relationship you have with your dad if he hadn't set the boundaries and the limit. And I said, oh, absolutely. Absolutely, we wouldn't have the relationship that we had, you know, that we have. I love being sober. It's kind of weird sometimes to think, though, like this has been my life for like 24 years. I mean, seriously. And more than that, because, you know, the years leading up to that, I mean, it wasn't my first time at the rodeo as far as treatment and trying to get sober, number one. Number two, I mean, there was shit that had happened before with, you know, like going to jail, having a breathalyzer on my car. I had a breathalyzer on my car back in the day. God. And, you know, just madness. I think there's something, and, you know, not just because I went through treatment at this time, but I think also I just feel so damn grateful this time of year for another year of sobriety, you know what I mean? Like, it's so cool. I feel so peaceful this year, I really do. I don't know why I was just thinking about this, but I was thinking, like, they asked us tonight if we wanted dessert, and none of us got dessert. And I remember back in the day, you know, when I got sober and I would, you know, go to these meetings or go out to dinner after, like, this is not with Tanya and stuff, this is before I met Tanya, but, you know, it'd be with, like, all these old guys. When we go to Perkins or Denny's or something like that, and every single one of them, you know, they all drank coffee. They never drank anything but coffee. They all drank coffee with like 4,000 creams and sugars in it, you know? And they just one cigarette after another up in the Denny's or the Perkins and or the IHOP or wherever we were. And then they always had dessert. And they'd be like, I mean, that had been like their sixth night in there that week, you know, if there was some waitress in there, I don't know, Sheila or something, they'd be like, well, now, Sheila, what's better tonight? Is it that coconut cream pie? Now, the apple's my favorite with a little bit of ice cream. You know, Sheila, that's my favorite. And she'd say, I gotcha. I'm bringing that apple pie out here, you know, and you want the apple, you don't want the coconut cream pie. They go, oh, Sheila, you always take good care of me, you know. And that's like, I'm 22 thinking, what the fuck did I get myself into, you know what I mean? But anyway, I look back on that and I think, God, how simple and nice that was, you know. That's kind of who I've turned into, I guess, to some degree on, you know, in my sobriety and going I turned it off again. Anyway, I guess I've kind of turned into those guys a little bit, though, you know what I mean? But I didn't have any dessert tonight. That was good. Not that it would matter if I did, because if I wanted to, I would have, because like Bobby Brown said, it's my prerogative. That was so stupid. Oh, I'm so good at corny jokes. I kind of wish I had gone. I thought I was going to go home. I have these huge Fry boots on, okay? And, they like lace up to like, you know, above my ankle. And they're kind of tight. And they have like this kind of like heel on them. Anyway, they're kind of like construction boot looking things. They're killing my feet right now. Well, I was going to go home and take them off and just put my like Sperry's on. But I was like, I don't want to drive all the way home when I'm right here anyway. I'm driving around out in the countryside. So I will just do my vlog now, and I thought my feet would start feeling better, but they're not. They're hurting. But I do love these boots, and I never wear them. So I told Alex, I said, all of my good shoes are buried underneath this pile of shoes that I have in the closet, of shoes that I've like had forever and I don't even wear them. He goes, why don't you throw some of those out? And I was like, yeah, I do need to do that. I went through this period where I was like in love with wingtips, okay? Let me tell you what my outfit was. Like real wingtips too, okay? So I would wear jeans. I always roll my jeans up, so you guys don't see that because you don't see me on camera, but like my jeans are rolled up right now. They're like that much, a little bit rolled up. But so I always roll my jeans up, and then I would wear wingtips with no socks, and then a button-down collared blue or gray shirt like that, or white shirt in the summer sometimes. Like that's what I always, like that was just kind of like my outfit for a long time. And so I have all these wingtips, right? But every time I would find a pair of wingtips that, every time I found a pair of wingtips that were on sale, I would buy them, okay? So I have like 6 or 7 pairs of wingtips, and some of them, to be honest with you, are not cute. And I really, truly wish I had never bought them. And they weren't super expensive anyway. Like I would get them on sale for like 20 bucks. And now I have all these wingtips, and I don't need them, and they're sitting in there, and I don't want to throw them out because I'm like, well, I might wear them one time. But they almost all of them, they're all like oxblood looking brownish color. They're all like that same color. And I'm like, I have basically like 5 or 6 pairs of like these shoes that all look the same, and I need to just get rid of them. And I have all these just other stuff, and I need to go through that. I swear to God, my closet is like a consignment store. So I have so many thrift clothes in there, vintage t-shirts, vintage western shirts. I love all of that stuff. I've got to go through there and clean it all out. I'm not getting rid of any of that stuff. That stuff's not the stuff that's going to go. The stuff that's going to go is going to be, my sponsor texted me. I need to see what she said. The stuff that's going to go is going to be like, I'm gonna take it to Goodwill, or I'm gonna give it to my brother-in-law Carlos because he can wear it to work and stuff. These like express shirts that I like got to wear to like some like dinner party one time, and I never wore again, and I know I never will. And plus they don't fit me, and I'm probably 30 pounds away from wearing them. And if I'm gonna wear something, it's not gonna be this express shirt from, you know, 2012. She is so sweet. She was like, it was great celebrating your birthday with you. You know, I will tell you one thing that I notice, like with these cheaper chapsticks or cheaper lip balms. I know that, well, this is actually chapstick, so I can say that. But like with this versus like the Kiehl's lip balm, let's just use that for example. $18 at Kiehl's. I think it's 18 or 22. The butter stick, which I love. You can get it tinted or untinted. I don't have to like I use that when I'm like making my videos. Like I have it like in this little dish where I keep the gold necklace of my mom's and this plastic ring that I wear sometimes. You know, those like sporty rings. Since my wedding ring doesn't fit, if we like go to things, sometimes I wear that. This like just like black ring. But so I keep that lip balm in there. Like I'll put it on like when I begin filming my videos, and 2 hours later, like my lips are still like, I can still feel it on there. These like cheap chapsticks or cheap lip balms, like these 3 right here, I love them, but I have to keep on reapplying them over and over and over again. I mean, they definitely don't last forever, you know what I mean? Which I kind of feel like they should, you know? I mean, what do you expect, Peter, out of a $1.29 chapstick? Probably not a lot. These dreams go on when it's cold outside. I'm ready for Christmas. So Christmas Eve, we're going over to Carlos and Liliana's house. I have absolutely no idea what time. Probably not super early. I mean, we do everything late with them anyway. But Christmas doesn't really start until later with them. So, like, we'll do dinner at, like, somewhere between 8 or 10. And, yeah, so I'll be taking a nap in the afternoon. So, that's why I got to get my shopping done so I can go home and I can take a nap and just kind of relax with my husband so I don't have to be so tired when I go over there, right? So, dinner will be between, like, probably, like, 8 and 10. Although, like, with them, the dinner's not ever super formal. It's kind of like they put it out, like, for an hour and people can eat what they want to eat. You know what I mean? Like, when I was growing up with my family, it was like a sit-down, elegant, like, Christmas dinner. We don't do that with them. I mean, maybe they're going to. I don't know. This is the first year that Carlos and Liliana have lived in the house, so they may, but I don't think so. So, the other thing is, like, Alex and I and, like, his mom and Liliana will dress up. But, like, Carlos will be in, like, basketball shorts and a hoodie or some t-shirt and, like, you know, what are those things called? You know, like those Nike slides. And, like, his friends that come over will be, like, dressed down, too, and stuff like that. The one thing I do love about their family is anybody that doesn't have any family to spend holidays with, they always invite over, which I think is fantastic. So, and then we'll wait. Oh, no. Then we do... Oh, no. Okay. So, dinner will be between, like, 8 and 10, and then there's desserts, and there will be desserts, and desserts are very important to them. So, there will be, like, candies, there will be cheese, there will be lots of chocolates, a lot of chocolate stuff, chocolate cakes, there will be, like, homemade stuff that they made, desserts that I don't even know what they are. But anyway, Alex is always like, oh, you'll love this, just try it. So, there'll be a lot of that. You know, and then there'll be a lot of drinking, so I'll want to get ready for that. That's about the time that I usually check out over to the Speedway and I get me a large coffee and I come back, because the Speedway is right around the corner from where they live. And then I'll come back and with my large coffee, and then everybody kind of just sits around and, like, talks and stuff and whatever. And then at midnight, well, about 11:30 is when Carlos has to start getting ready, because Santa Claus comes at midnight. See, Santa Claus in Venezuela flies over the house and drops all the presents in the front yard, okay? So Santa will come at midnight, and he will go and he'll ring the doorbell. So when he goes up, he drops it, like, him flying over will magically ring the doorbell. And so the doorbell rings, because the kids are kind of distracted at that time, if you know what I mean. So he'll, like, so when Santa Claus flies over the house, Santa Claus's energy, okay, this is how it happens in Venezuela, so now that since they live here, it happens, you know, Santa's the same way. So his energy sets off the front door, and then the kids, like, all this, like, bing, 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 bing. So then, you know, Carlitos and Sebastian are like, oh my God, Santa Claus is here. So then we'll go to the door, we'll go out in the yard, and we'll see, like, all the gifts that Santa Claus has left them. And so then we'll bring all the gifts inside, and, if they were good, if they weren't good, Santa Claus probably won't come this year. I don't know. So anyway, now T.O. Peter, that's me. I don't know how we decided this a couple years ago, but it just kind of happened. I have, apparently, Santa Claus's direct line in my phone. I'm very good friends with Santa. So at any time Carlitos acts up, they just say, we'll have T.O. Peter call Santa for you. And, or, you know, I'll just lift up the phone and I'll say, now Carlitos, I mean, Santa, does he need to know about this? So... Anyway, parents, you know how long that lasts, that works, okay? So anyway, but apparently they say that when I'm not even there. You know, T.O. Peter, he's really good friends with Santa. So anyway, oh my God, my battery's about to die. So then they'll bring all the presents in, and then all the presents that we have for each other, we, like, unwrap and we share with each other, and then I'm sure they'll set up the karaoke machine, they start playing lots of music, and then there will be dancing until, like, 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. And then at some point, people will start fading out, and that's when we will leave and go home. And then on Christmas Day, we are going over to my cousin Caroline's, and we are having dinner with her and her, well, lunch dinner with her and her husband in the afternoon, and their son and stepkid. So that'll be fun. I'm excited about that. So Christmas is coming. Christmas is coming. The goose is getting fat. Hey. So anyway, are you guys excited for Christmas? Put what your Christmas plans are below. Let me know what you guys are doing for Christmas. Yeah, and the battery's about to die, so I'm gonna get off here. God, I keep on doing this, so then it's like shorter and shorter each time. But I love you guys, and I hope you're having a wonderful week. It's almost the weekend before Christmas, so just hang in there. It's hump day. I love you, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye.